guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Isabel. If you are new here and you're just coming across my video because you're looking for hysterectomy videos for testimonies, documenting and all that stuff purposes, then hello, my name is Isabel. I had a hysterectomy at 38 years old last year in 2025. For context, I will be sharing a little bit of my backstory just so it all correlates and maybe you guys can become familiar with my timeline, my symptoms, and the things that I've been going through. As a person that likes to do videos and document things, I like to write out my own notes, and everything I read is just my own notes because I don't want to forget any details. Okay, in this video I will be sharing a little bit of my history, in the sense of how things started when I was young, and then onto my surgery, what made me decide about my surgery, and all the things that I used and the things that helped me during my surgery recovery. Okay, so hello, my name is Isabel. Nice to meet you. Please don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. Share the video if you are up for it. And if this is something that you just randomly came across, you will be okay. I know it's a very scary surgery. It's a big surgery nonetheless, but trust me, for me it was the best decision I could have made for myself and for my family. So I'm going to start off by sharing a little bit of my backstory. I got my period at 14 years old. Since then, I remember that in my early adult life, so 17, 18, 19, 20, I always had dizziness, some sort of insomnia, headaches, and painful periods, painful cramps, painful back pain, debilitating feeling, and dizziness. And it just kept going on. As I got older, it got worse and worse and worse and worse. And I always heard people say like, oh, you know, once you have kids, it'll be different, it'll change. And for me, things got worse, okay? For me, things got worse, for the worse. And I hated it, you know? So in 2016, I had like a pregnancy scare. I don't know if I've ever shared this with my audience, but I had a pregnancy, right? I missed my period. I did a test and they're like, oh, you know, you're pregnant, it's positive, you're pregnant, it's positive, whatnot. Go to the hospital, you're positive. And my HCG levels were up, but then I got a terrible period. Okay, had a terrible period, very painful, very heavy, very bleedy, very clotty, painful, everything. Okay, then that happened like June. We didn't try to get pregnant the month of July until August. I missed August, and then I got pregnant in September. And again, I got pregnant, I had Valentina. My period came maybe like 3 weeks later. I say pretty soon. After delivering, I had her via C-section. My blood pressure went up, and I had to have her through a C-section surgery. Wasn't an option for me. So yeah, after having my daughter, things escalated and got worse. I had her in 2017, from 2017 to 2022. I had a cyst in 2016 before I got pregnant. They did tell me, you have an ovarian cyst, but it's so tiny it will not stop you from getting pregnant. And okay, I got pregnant, I had my daughter, and again, things got progressively worse. Period cramps, accidents, heavy flow, headaches, nausea, dizziness, insomnia. And again, I will probably repeat this a lot, and when I say things kept getting worse, I mean they got worse from the previous year. Every month it would get worse and worse and worse, and I didn't know why. So yeah, you know, my anemia numbers kept fluctuating. My doctor said, Isabel, you have anemia, you know what's going on? And they're like, okay, we got to do a colonoscopy, we got to check if you have internal bleeding. We did all that testing, and it was my period. I was just bleeding so much. I lost the ability to remember how much I was bleeding in my younger days. That to me, my heavy bleeding was like normal, with the exception of random accidents where I would just gush either to the front, to the sides, or to the back, anywhere, anytime. And so what that meant was I was now living confined to my period, to my symptoms, to my calendar, working around the calendar, working around the days, and planning things around. That's where things got worse. So I have my notes right here, okay? I write everything down. So I became anemic. In 2022, I have my woman's exam and the doctor tells me, Isabel, you have 2 uterine fibroids. And I was like, oh great, cyst that's still there, and now I have 2 fibroids, so that's 3 things pending now. These things grew every year more and more. It went from like a small tiny green lemon to a large lemon, from a large lemon to an orange, from an orange to the size of a pomegranate, okay? And so fast, like in 2 years they went from being this big to like this big. And so yeah, when the doctor told me this, I was like, oh my god. She gave me all the options I can do, right? Like birth control, the pills, whatever I could have, because I was born with a heart problem. And so I just can't do anything because I have high blood pressure, and that was just not an option, right? But she tried to give me alternatives, and the IUD, and you know, removal surgery. And I did my research. I went online, I dug deep down in the freaking sands of the deep ocean of the internet, and I tried castor oil packs. That I read a lot of people say like it removes them, it can help, but it was never promised. I did all that. I did teas, raspberry tea, raspberry leaf tea helped me so much, but the problem was deeper than the tea itself. And so again, things just got worse every month. I was bleeding more, my symptoms were more intense, they were coming more early. I was spending a lot of time controlling my days, scheduling our days, scheduling our events, canceling plans because I was on my period and I was in pain, I was bleeding a lot, I was gushing, I was having accidents, I was uncomfortable, I was bloated. All of that stuff happened to me. My periods were very heavy. I had to change my pad. Like, let's say I would put a new one right now and I would have an accident, have to change it in like 5-10 minutes. I had the biggest blood clots ever. I showed my sisters one time and I was just like, oh my god, I should have at least removed it and then just put it on something. But it was like a long blood clot, like this big, huge. I used the thickest pads. At some point I even started thinking into diapers, because again, like there was no telling when I was gonna have an accident. Like I was placing my pads correctly, I was using the thickest, the largest, the longest pads, but it just, even there, it just seems like the blood was shooting in its own direction. Okay, the blood clots was another thing that was like, oh my god. But it all made sense simply because my uterus was enlarged. It was the size of a 14-week pregnancy, so that's why my stomach was bulgy, and that's why there was so much room for a lot of blood, because my uterus was this big. Because I would think, our uterus is the size of an avocado, why is all this blood coming from? Why and where? So if you bleed a lot, please advocate for yourself, ask for more exams, ask to check for enlarged uterus, for fibroids, to check your cervix, everything. Push for answers, push for a better screening, because I went to the doctor every single year religiously and my doctor didn't catch the cervix cyst and the enlarged uterus, surprisingly. But again, it's all over and done now, but I'm telling you, it was a lot. My periods, the gushes were like terrible, and I could have put a brand new pad, went to bed, laid down, and 10 minutes later I was changing underwear again, because I would have multiple accidents. And it wasn't because I was wearing the wrong thing, it was just my body was alerting me that something wasn't right. And I was this close, and it was a price that would make me feel like, no, I'm not buying diapers. I'll buy the biggest pads. I use a Tina pads, the longest, the biggest, the widest, to get the most coverage out of the front and the back and the sides. Even there wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. I still had accidents regardless. So yeah, you should not bleed a lot. If you're bleeding a lot, please get checked. Ask for a in-depth look for endometriosis and all that stuff. So yeah, I tried everything. I did my research, and at the end I found out that these fibroids can come back even if I were to have surgery. And that was my thing. During this time, I was still hesitant of having another child because I wanted another child, but until Valentina was like 3 years old. Old enough, but not too old to where she was already in school. And so I was like this, yes, have another, no, let's not have another. Again, because everything I was going through was mentally, emotionally, and physically draining, okay? And again, as each month passed, my symptoms were worse. I was anemic. My numbers were consistently going lower and 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 lower, and my symptoms were worse, 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 worse. And like, I really just felt stuck in a rut where it was like, all right, I have to make a decision. I get them removed, I have an embolization, I like, what? I was so lost. For the first time in my life, I felt like I don't know what decision to take. I don't know what to do. I need help making a decision. Okay, again, things progressively got worse like this. So I watched a lot of videos. I seen a lot of women's videos on TikTok, on YouTube. I read a lot of stories online, and I was just like, I'm gonna have to do this. I'm gonna have to do this. It's a big surgery, but there's no way I could live like this. There's no way. I refuse to leave these two fibroids in, and I don't want to do this anymore. I probably am not going to have another child, and I'm okay with that. I'm a mom. I experienced motherhood. I'm grateful for that, but I don't think it's going to be an option. My husband has been very supportive of my decisions. Obviously, it's something that made us both sad, including my daughter, but far from that, it was what was best for my health. You know, it was more so my health on the line than anything else. And so again, I read that surgery was not 100% when it came to removing fibroids, that if I removed them today, they could be back in 6 months. And that's where I started saying, like, no, if I get them removed, I'm going to put myself through a procedure, and then they come back, and then I have to get a hysterectomy. Like, at the end of the day, at the end of the route, at the end of the diagnosis, I was going to have a hysterectomy. So as my iron numbers kept going lower and lower and lower, my symptoms kept getting worse, hair fall, hair loss, everything, again, just everything was much more worse. I was spending more times feeling sick than I was feeling well. I had a 3-week window where I was just unwell, and then 1-week window where I was okay. And while all this happening, being a mom, being a wife, my daughter getting sick constantly in school activities, the pandemic, losing my dad, losing a lot of family members, all while this is going on, okay? And so I had a colonoscopy to rule out internal intestinal bleeding, because my doctors thought, this is so much, your numbers are decreasing so much. I get sent to a hematologist, and they're like, okay, you need iron infusions now, like now. And I'm like, oh my God. Okay, I got a total of 3 sessions, each session being 4 rounds, okay? So a total of 12. I felt amazing, energy, awake, alive, alert, so much better with those iron infusions, so much better. An increased amount of energy, of willpower to do things, because again, everything was already affecting me emotionally and mentally. So at this point, I was already like running back and forth, having trouble like figuring out, right? And I just told my husband, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. I can't afford this anymore. My daughter's seeing me down a lot. We can't live a normal life because we're planning around, we're canceling. We can't plan ahead because I don't feel well. We can't do this because I don't feel well. It was already disrupting 90% of my family time and my time in general. I still am. I go day by day because today I will be fine, tomorrow I'll be dead. I'll be dead alive. And so, okay. I got to the point where I just told my doctor, I don't want to do this anymore. I want surgery. I want my uterus out. I'm okay, and so is my husband. If we don't have any more children, I want to get this done. My daughter goes on vacation, and I'm like trying to get this done before she goes into school. Because I said, I don't want to have the stress of having to have someone drop her off and pick her up and all that stuff. So I was referred to a surgeon. Amazing surgeon, didn't even question my decision. He said, yeah, if this is what you want to do, you know, and everything you're telling me, your reasons are very valid. And I got a pre-exam from his team, and in that pre-surgery exam they found a cervical cyst, and they found that my uterus was enlarged. Okay, so I was like, yeah, I kind of figured there was something there more than I expected, because even my gynecologist was like, you know, I insist it's not your fibroids that's causing these heavy periods. And I was just like, say less, lady. Don't tell me anything anymore. I don't want to hear anything you have to say. But yeah, I was just done. Like, I was done. If I can walk into the hospital and say, hey, I want a hysterectomy, I know it's not an option, but that's how done I was with this and with this stuff in my life, ruling my life. So yeah, this was in April, May, June. I got my appointment in June, end of June, and then they're like, all right, schedule surgery is for August 1st, 2025. At 38 years old, you're gonna have a hysterectomy. And I had a robotic laparoscopic hysterectomy. They removed my cervix, they removed my uterus, and my ovaries stayed in. So I had a ovarian cyst. I had 2 uterine fibroids. My uterus was enlarged as the size of a 14-week pregnancy size uterus, so very large. Bulging stomach reason. What else? The cyst in my cervix, which was completely new, and endometriosis. They diagnosed me with endometriosis, and again, it just all made sense. At this point, I was like, I'm done. I'm getting this surgery. Yes, this is what I want. I'm sure. I'm 100% sure of my decisions, and there is no time, no room for me to lash out and say I don't want to do it. I want to do this as soon as possible. Like, I can't afford, because again, they did my iron infusions, but as soon as I would have a period, my numbers would significantly drop by like 1 or 2 points. So my hemoglobin now post-surgery is at a 13 point something. During the worst time, it was at a 9.2. That's very low. My ferritin was like at a 4. My labs were a complete mess in the sense of anemia. As soon as I had my surgery, my numbers went up. So now we're gonna go into the surgery preparation stuff that I did to prepare for the surgery. Okay, it's just me, my husband, and my daughter. My family lives far away, 30 miles. My mom is like 70 miles. I don't have to explain, but just again for context, and so you guys have an idea, like, why didn't you get help? You didn't have help. Like, who? Where's your family? My family lives 30 minutes away, my siblings, and my mom lives 70 miles away. She's already older. With that in mind, I prepared my home as if I was moving. I prepared my home as if I was going to have the president over in my house. I know, exaggerating, but again, I have no help. My husband had to work from home, but still has to be working, take my daughter to school and pick her up when it was time. I had my surgery on August 1st. My daughter returned to school on the 14th or the 15th. So I had roughly 14 days to try and recuperate as much as I could before my daughter went to school, and that was a great part. If I can recommend anyone to do that, after, I felt like, no, maybe you should do it when your kids are in school, if you have someone to pick them up and drop them off. That way they're not at home watching you in pain recovering. Okay, would I do it again like that? I don't know. I would have to really think. Like, hopefully I don't have to have another surgery, but if I do, I would do that. Prefer my daughter be at school if I have someone to pick her up and drop her off. Okay, so in preparation for my surgery is now what we're gonna get into. I have my notes right here. I write everything down. I cleaned my entire house. I mopped, I swept, I cleaned my bathrooms very early on, right before my surgery day, so that I didn't have to worry, and neither did my husband have to worry about anything in the sense of the house other than laundry and feeding us. So as far as clothing, I'd say loose blouses, loose pajama pants or leggings that are comfortable, loose underwear. For sure, that's what you're gonna need, okay? Because you get gas inserted and you will puff up, and the clothing that you wear, if it's a little fit, it's gonna fit tight, okay? As far as pain management, I was given Tylenol, Motrin, and antibiotics through the IV and then post orally. And my Tylenol and my Motrin were just for pain management purposes. However, I stopped medication on day 4. Okay, after day 4, I did not need any more medication. It was just my body's sign of telling me, I got this, you're good, and you made a decision that was correct for you. As far as comfort at home, I got myself an extra large back pillow, those that have the little cushions on the side. And I got a heating pad. That was a lifesaver, if I can recommend anything. Heating pad and a large back pillow, those ones that have the back part and the little arms like stuck to them. I'll try to insert a picture or a video. As far as home preparation, I did my laundry, I washed my bed sheets, I ran my groceries, I meal prepped whatever I could, I cut vegetables and fruits. Kitchen stove, clean bathroom, tidy up as much as I can. Again, like if the president was coming over to my house, but he wasn't, just because I wanted my husband to be able to just work from home, pick up and drop off my daughter to school, and just worry about helping me with laundry and our meals, and that was it. Just wash all your blankets, all your sheets, everything, leave everything intact, so that the next couple of weeks all you have to worry about is your husband, your partner, whoever's helping you get laundry done, and then just whatever meals you're gonna eat. As far as meals, I try to eat only beneficial type of foods, so broths, chickens, soup, chicken stock, pho, just the noodles in the broth. What else? I'll tell you guys, I'll read you the list of the things that I bought just to make sure that I was eating nutritious food to help me with recovery and fortify my body. I bought tapioca pudding, saltines, oatmeal, jello, granola, yogurt, fruits, agua de Jamaica, cranberry grape water, coconut water, and water, of course. As far as supplements, I did a woman's vitamin that contained fruits and vegetables, and the reason behind that is because I just wanted to ensure that my body was receiving the nutrients while it was trying to recover and heal. Okay, so that's the reason why I bought those vitamins, and I tried to eat healthy snacks, and whatever snacks I had again was like jello, oatmeal, granola, stuff like that. For surgery prep, I can't remember the time frame they gave me as far as what time after not to eat, but they gave me laxatives. The reason why they give you laxatives, and if you ever have a surgery and they give them to you, please drink them. It's a prevention of it's to prevent constipation during surgery, after surgery, post-surgery, during your recovery, so that you don't strain yourself. So they want to get your bowels moving before you go into surgery, so it's a smoother transition and you're having a smoother, less straining surgery process when it comes to using the restroom, if that makes sense, if I didn't confuse you guys. But yeah, I walked into the surgery place. The surgery was, my husband and daughter dropped me off. The surgery was a couple of hours, maybe 4 or 3. It's probably like 3 hours, to be honest. Surgery was at 11 and I think I was out by 2, so 3 hours. It was robotic, it was laparoscopic, left my ovaries, removed my uterus, removed my fallopian tubes, and removed my cervix. To me, it was the best decision of my life. I walked in there like if I was confident, like if I was gonna get a BBL, like if I was gonna get a mommy makeover, like I was gonna get a brand new car. That was a positive attitude that I had, and I was like, yeah, let's do this. I'm done. Get it together, get it done. I was hyped up, you guys. That's how much it impacted my life, that I was happy. I was like, heck yeah, I'm having surgery. I was happy. And I know for most of us, it's worrisome, it's scary. Yeah, it was scary, but I was 90% more excited than I was worried about the outcome. I bled very little for weeks. Very, very little. Like, all I needed was like a super thin pad, and that was fine. Probably about for 8 to 9 weeks, light spotting, and eventually it was just nothing. If you're thinking about surgery, I know it's scary, but trust me, it will be the best decision. I can't tell you guys how much weight I was carrying that I didn't think, that I didn't know, that I didn't feel was that weight, from the simple fact of having a cycle every month. Like, mentally having to stress about a period, and your planning, your calendar, and everything you have to do is like, oh my god, the weight, it was like 50 pounds lifted off my body the moment I knew, that's it, no more calendar, no more looking up, no more nothing, adios, bye-bye, no more cycle. But yes, I still get my PMSing part. Huge relief knowing that you can plan anything, you can do anything. If there's anything I can advise you to do, is please recover appropriately. If you feel well, let your body heal. Lay there, watch TV, watch cartoons, read some books, get a hobby, paint, crossword puzzle. It's gonna get boring in the beginning. You're gonna want to fight the urge of being home. You're gonna want to have, you're gonna have the energy to say, let's go to the gym, but stay still. Do not wash, do not fold, do not clean, do not mop, do not sweep, do not carry, do not push, do not drive. I drove until the 2nd week, and trust me, it feels so crazy, and you don't know how much things impact your uterus and that part of your body until you have this kind of surgery. That's another thing. You're at risk of your cuff tearing, which is where they sew your internal part, your vagina, laying there, your uterus, whatever was in there, that is what you're at risk of tearing. So please, again, if there's any advice I can give you, let go, let God take care of you, recover, do nothing, do nothing, do nothing, do nothing, do nothing. Drink your medicine, eat well, drink well, try to sleep well, try to be comfortable, enjoy your recovery. Because that's one thing I told my husband. I'm sorry, but this recovery, I want to recover appropriately. I tried to lash out on 2 things that we had pending, because I said, I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm not going to ruin my recovery, because if your cuff tears, then you reset your recovery to 10 more weeks or 12 more weeks. So that's exactly what I didn't want. I said, this time around for this surgery, I want to recuperate. I want to concentrate on me, on recovering, on healing appropriately and in a timely manner. I'm not going to do nothing. And I didn't do nothing. Okay? I didn't do nothing. I started walking more and more and more every day. The air that they inject, it's painful, it's uncomfortable, but the best thing you could do is, if you get it, just do this. Tap yourself, okay? Go like this, hard. And trust me, you're gonna start burping. It's funny, but do it on your back, do it on your side, on your wrist, with your wrists, just do this, okay? It's gonna help you bring the air out. I didn't take any medication. I didn't take anything to get the air out. That's all I did. It came out. It was the worst part, to be honest. It was the worst uncomfortable part, painful part of the gas, releasing the gas and the pains. But again, everybody's healing process and recovery process is different. What else? I used the restroom appropriately. I didn't have no nausea. I didn't have no vomiting. I'm not one to vomit or have nausea after surgery, after anesthesia. I woke up fine. Drank some juice, and yeah, like an hour later I went home, laid down, try to sleep, try to rest, try to eat as much as you can, chicken broth, vegetables, whatever you can, just nutritious food to nourish your body while it's healing. I think that's it, guys. I think that's it for today. It was a pretty intensive video. I tried to share as much as I can, but again, at the end of the day, it is your body, it is your choice. This is what I did for myself. I don't regret it one bit. I would do it all over again if I had to. And it was the best decision of my life. Life-changing. And yeah, if there's anything you guys want to know, anything that I possibly missed, I hope not, let me know in the comment section below, and I will try as best as I can to answer you. Please don't forget to like this video, share this video, subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you guys on the next one. And I hope that whatever decision you take is just the best for you and your family, and that for me, it was just, I was meant to have one child, and I'm okay with that. It is what it is, and I accept it. I accept God's will, I accept God's timing, and that's it. That's it, guys. I know it seems simple. I know it probably seems like, Isabel, you make it seem so easy, but this is just exactly the same attitude I had towards my surgery and deciding. I just said, I'm done, and I want this done, okay? That's how bad things were for me. And again, infusions after infusions after infusions, my levels dropping again. Like, I was in a rut, you know. Meanwhile, being a mom, being a wife, taking my daughter to school. Did that sound weird? Taking my daughter. Again, just all that in the back burner while still having to be a mom, a daughter, a wife, and participate in all her activities as much as I could. So that's it for today. Thank you guys so much, and I hope that I get your subscription out of this video, and that whatever you choose is the best decision for you and for your family, and that you will not regret whatever you decide, and that you will be okay. Thank you, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.